form it off. Okay. Out. And first, the somewhat boring. Well, I'm thinking actually. I do need to take attendance. You're not getting points for attendance. I mean, I hope it's useful for you. I do need to know if you're here and who else here. Come on. Am I just being weird and impatient? Is it just me because it's first day of class and I'm being impatient, or is this really slow? Okay, okay. Sometimes I can't tell like what. Oh. Anyway, how was your summer besides weird?
It's pretty good.
Okay. Anybody do any cool internships or something? Okay. Work, home, chill. Good. Morning. Okay, we're gonna ignore that and I'll come back in 10 minutes later. So like, don't leave. I mean, you can't walk through it. Oh. Alright, so hi class, here we are. Your anatomy and physiology was excellent. Today we're going to go over anatomy and physiology, or some of the basic characteristics of living organisms, which I realize that some of this you're like, I know all this. Some of the levels of organization. Then the three big topics for today are what's the basic function of the organ systems. We'll go into more depth, like that's what the point of this semester is. But some just the lymphatic system does X. What homeostasis is, and then how to find your way around body weight, which side is body. Okay? Right, so body is made out of stuff, right? Cool this. Tons of oxygen. Anybody have a good guess why oxygen is such a big percentage up there?
Is your cells need it? So like
Yes.
it's in your blood and it's pretty much everywhere.
It's everywhere, right? It's in water, it's in your blood, it's just all over the place. Carbon's huge. Hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus, all really big. Some other ones that show up a lot. You'll know there's some of these things that show up in your multivitamin, like iron. Not if you make the list. You still need it, but it's not hugely in the percentage of your body weight. 94 naturally occurring elements, 61 show up in the human body. So there's a lot. Some of them we actually don't even know what they do. Like, it's there. I wonder if it's important. Don't memorize any of these numbers. I find it somewhat interesting. A couple years ago, the Royal Society of Chemistry in the UK worked out for the average sized person, we use Benedict Cumberbatch because he's about an average sized person, how much it would cost to get the stuff to build the body, right? And so they're like, okay, so this much carbon is going to run however many dollars, etc. Carbon is actually expensive for them because they use like lab grade carbon. If you got like a pile of graphite, it would be pretty cheap. But anyways, they use lab grade stuff. And they said basically, you can get it done for $1.5 million, right? A couple years before, Fiesta Nova had done the same estimation, and they came up with $168. So apparently, depending on where you shop, makes a difference. And so, 2 points. Point one, there's still some unknowns about the human body. Like, who knows? Point two, though, whether it was cheap or reasonably expensive, if you got a big wad of carbon and hydrogen and oxygen and you dump them out in the lab. There's something between that and human body, right? Like, we're missing some step there. Fair enough? The fancy scientific term for this is called emergent properties, meaning the human body is more exciting than the blob of chemicals that makes it up. They interact in cool ways, and they do some interesting things. So yay for us. It's gonna be cool. Oh yeah, boring stuff. So, doing some boring stuff, and then we'll get back to lunch. Class is Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah. You gotta be in the lab as well. If you're not signed up for it, get signed up for it. Regardless, show up today. We're meeting in, you know where you had Gen Bio? We're meeting in that lab room and the lab room across the hall because we can't have you all in the same room. So, pick one of those rooms, but if it's full, go to the other one. And I will be back and forth with you both. Hi, people. With that, we're going to do a number of dissections in lab. Some today, some later. Some people get squeezed out by that, which is fine. That's cool. But usually there's about one in class. Some other people, I've known people who come to the lab and after they start doing, they're like, oh, I'm hungry. You're like, okay. Great, but like, you're creeping out your neighbors. But some people get bothered by it. It's mostly the smell. If you've eaten something before, it helps. I think just, I don't know why, but it helps. Okay? Also, if you're wearing a mask, it'll probably help too. So, lab, the final grade, like other lab classes, is going to be lab plus lecture. With that, there's a syllabus. I'm digging into it. You'll see it by tonight. Every time. I should do it early, but every time. Don't cheat. It's going to be slightly harder to cheat than normal in this class because like everything's now online as well, so if it's open book, basically don't copy from your neighbors, but study together, that's good. Do wear a mask. Not really optional. Partially because I'm paranoid. Also partially because I don't want your neighbors to be freaked out. So like I don't want anybody in the class to be like, well, I can't come to class because Bob over there, right? If for whatever reason you can't be wearing a mask or you're sick or whatever, everything is now available online. So the lectures are available online. The lab's available online. It's weird. I recognize it's weird. Labs online are not going to be identical to labs in class because of the like physical aspect of it, but there'll be something for you to do each time. We're cool with that? Great. Oh yeah, class online. Please don't like break up with your significant other in class or be super distracting. Turn things on time. Be nice to your buddies. Any special concerns, let me know. Concerns with this? Okay, sweet. Gen Bio, I should compare you to Gen Bio, but I will. Gen Bio, we took a while going over this. You all think about this. Oh yeah, and this, it's gonna show up in the syllabus, but 3 exams, 11 quizzes, only 10 counts, so you can drop one. Some in-class activities. I'll have a science sheet, but every week I like to take turns being like, I have something I would like to share. We're talking about 5 minutes, some version of ways I remember the human body, this, that, and the other. It's a fairly low stakes assignment, but you can come up with some helpful mnemonic device for the bones or the blood or whatever it is that works for you. Fair enough? They have to be appropriate to post on YouTube. So I know that there are a lot of mnemonics that are very memorable. You gotta have them be appropriate for class. Alright? Just the graph. And then there's a final. And yeah, we're good. Am I going to do this too fast? Oh. Problem I think with the first day of class in any class is you want to know what's going on, but you're also, if one more person reads me the syllabus, my brain will melt. Okay. This is not human body. This is the United States. Minus, some parts. But can people find where the states are? Like, can you find where Missouri is? You may want to help me out here. Here-ish?
Yeah,
A little bit short. Try that's the floor. Okay, on the floor we've got some ideas where it is. Here-ish. Anybody super solve of how far out it sticks? That's some ideas.
Florida, kind of like that around.
Okay. Not bad. Are you going by memory or are there some geographical features that help you out here? I realize this is fuzzy.
Because I know the bottom of Alabama has that weird, yeah, like tip that comes out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's specific.
Not bad.
Alabama specific.
Not bad. That's pretty good. You've got some features and waymarks to be like, okay, because of here, I know the spot. There you go. Some edges are way easier than others, right? Like edges for some parts of Michigan are like, yeah, it goes up to here, and then there's like Canada, right? Some parts try to figure out where say, oh, I know the border between Colorado and Kansas. That's a tricky one to see. So you're like, I don't see big features. Some of the mountain ranges are good features. If you zoom in, you've got some rivers that are state borders, right? But it's kind of tricky, right? Some things are obvious, right? Like a lot of state borders that are like, you know what, we're gonna go for a mountain or a river or an ocean as our edge, or a lake. Others kind of fuzzy. Human body. We've conveniently divided it into different systems, and some are obvious. Some have like an ocean boundary, right? Like that's a mode, that's not a mode. Like, yep. Once you get here, you're done. Some systems say the respiratory system, it's really hard to tell where the edges are, right? Like, okay, yes, lungs, the blood count, but now we're talking about blood vessels, and now the heart, right? Like, the point of this is the human body doesn't know we've color-coded it by different chunks, so everything plays together. Okay with this? It's a really important concept because you're like, well, everything's connected, which it is. That's the caveat. For the rest of the class, I'm going to behave as if it's color-coded. Like, okay, the immune system. All right. One more terrible analogy, and then we'll. Okay, one more terrible analogy for the next 2 minutes. Anatomy is the study of the structure, the chunks. Physiology is the function of the chunks. Is it easy to separate those two? Not really, right? Like I mean, you can't people do. Oh, my analogy is not where I thought it was. We'll get to it later, I'm sorry. But yeah, okay, so we're doing both of those. What the chunks are, what they're called, and what they do. I personally think this one's more interesting. But like you can look up the names of things. But it's cool if you're like, this is how the kidney works. I really like the kidneys. I don't know why. Okay. Oh, by raising hands, who all in this class next semester is welcome? And now you should do too. Oh, cool. Okay. If you're only in it for one, that's great. This is what, or two, that's also great. This is what we're covering this semester. For no particular reason, because besides, these are kind of the basic systems. We're going to go over like just the human body in general, tissue types, the skin and nails and hair, that kind of stuff. Bones, well, skeletal tissue, skeletal system, muscle tissue, muscle system, nervous tissue, the central nervous system. We're ignoring a bunch of the nervous system until next semester. We'll do blood, heart, respiratory system, digestive system, and urinary system. The next semester, we're going to get the rest of these. So, like, we're not getting to reproduction until next semester. We're cool? Kind of a general overview of where we're at. Whew. People doing okay? You can study anatomy or physiology on tons of different levels. You can do it on the regions, like everything from the neck up. You can do it by system. You're like, okay, respiratory system. And you can do it by like what does it look like, basically. You can also do it by studying cells, studying tissues. Developmental anatomy is a big thing, like through developmental lifespan, how do things change? Physiology is usually based on the organ system, and it's usually looking at cell level stuff. But they're really hard to pull apart, right? The functional calendar has a lot to do with what it looks like, right? But how something works and what it's made out of are together. And so something, the shape of it, it's difficult to use something it's not the shape that it's supposed to be. So the fancy term the book uses is complementarity of structure and function. They go together. What looks like, the shape of it, how it works. Alright, so help me out to be alive. Or basic characteristics that organisms have. Specifically people. I do like this class because in Gen Bio and then in comparative anatomy, I can look for other examples. But most of my examples are humans anyway, because that's the one I know about. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to pretend to know anything about jellyfish. Basic characteristics of humans in the world. Or things you need, yeah.
It's like in general, there's like order, motion.
Yeah, okay, that means somewhat organized. Like, okay, at some levels, or at lots of levels. Perfect, beautiful.
Like uses energy in some form.
Yeah,
like
that,
through intake and energy, putting out energy.
that is huge. We're going to talk more about that next semester. About the like going from your healthy balanced diet or jelly beans, whatever it is you eat for breakfast, to getting stuff done. It's a huge role. Yeah. Other things? Yeah.
Ability to reproduce.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Like, you don't die without this, but the species needs this to happen. Other things? I realize we got more, at some level, I think it's just teleports. People are on it. Metabolism, this energy use idea. Responsiveness, this is a fancy way of saying if somebody pokes you with a stick, you can do something. Or you can respond to changes in temperature, changes in air pressure, like you can do something. Movement, right? Growth. Differentiation is just basically saying there's basically you're not a sea sponge, you can do lots of different types of things. And then that reproduction, which we'll talk about. Stuff you're gonna need. Stuff all organisms need. There's one caveat here. There's specific water requirements, specific food requirements, or energy input, oxygen. Humans especially are going to need tons of oxygen. You're going to need heat. And this one's not super obvious, but you have some pressure requirements. Too much pressure or not enough pressure, it's going to be a problem. Though, unless you're like hanging out on top of Mount Everest or skydiving a lot or deep sea diving a lot, the pressure range, you should be fine. So far, so good? Oh, great. This is worth knowing and getting you comfortable with this, but knowing which is bigger, a tissue or an organ. And by bigger, I don't mean large, right? Because you can have a really big blob of tissue, but levels of complexity. Starting with, you've got chemicals, right? Atoms, molecules. You move up to cells, right? Which is, from our perspective, is going to be the basic unit of anatomy, physiology, a cell. Two or more cell types stuck together doing something is going to be a tissue. Kind of like, so you've got an atom, if you've got two or more atoms stuck together, you get molecule, right? Two or more cell types stuck together, you can get a tissue. If you have a couple tissue types together, you can get an organ. A bunch of different organs play nicely with each other, you can build an organ system, and then you get up to you. Cool with this? Hierarchy? All right. Cellular, congratulations, this is good. you gotta keep individual cells alive, or you detect alive. Millions are gonna die of the cells, but you need organs to help cells, you need cells to help organs. Right? Okay. I know you're not like close together, but are you close enough to talk to at least one other person and be like, hi friend? No? Do people that communicate via like hand signals to your neighbor, or just think deep thoughts? Great. Random side note. Today, sit wherever you want, right? On Thursday, I'm coming with this seating chart, and then you like sign up for your seat, which honestly, people do anyways. Like, once you sit in your seat at a class, it is yours. And if somebody else sits in your seat, you're like, dude, they broke the rule. So anyways, we'll get a seating chart. It's true. And like, teachers will sometimes mark you absent if you sit in the wrong spot, and they're like, well, they're obviously not here. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll have a seating chart. So there is that. Okay, general functions of each body system. Help me out. What's the function of the integumentary system? Again, skin, hair, nails. I think it's called what half? Something from this half of the room. Might help me out. What does it do? And there's more than one answer.
Protection.
Yeah. Right. You gotta keep the outside world out and the inside world in. That is very solid. Skin is a huge part, but I get excited. Okay. The outside inside part, but also from the immune system perspective, the skin is like the best part of it. Okay. The outside world is a scary hostile place, and keep it out. Nice. This side of the room wants to contribute anything else?
Insulation?
Yeah, it's you've got, not you personally, everybody has, you've got your skin, you've also got hair, which is supposed to help keep you warmer. So I'm not sure how much warmer it makes if you shave your legs versus not shave your legs. Anyway, but you've got hair which keeps you warm. You've got fat deposits underneath it. Provides a lot of insulation. Yeah. Any other functions we can think about? Nails or hair?
Gets rid of waste.
Say what?
Gets rid of waste.
Yeah, that's you have anticipated a lot of this class. You need your skin to be able to breathe. So most of the waste you're getting out of you, you're getting out through your respiratory system, through your urinary system, through fecal matter, right? But you also get stuff out through your skin. And there's been bad cases of people like for stage productions who like they need to be green or whatever it is they're doing, they like spray paint themselves, like all of themselves, and completely clog like their entire skin, and they can get really sick, because don't do that. Use like official body paint. Don't just be like, I've got a can of spray paint. Ah! It also is going to do stuff for heat regulation. Also, it's going to synthesize vitamin D. Do you see the sun at some point in your life? You know, it's important. This is not the end all be all list. The idea is to kind of know the basics, what we're expecting to happen here. Alright, skeletal system. The obvious one, right, is keep you not being a power push. Anybody else have a suggestion beside the class? Yeah.
They produce blood cells and
Oh.
stores minerals.
You people are good. This is going to be a fun class. That was the sneaky one that was coming up next. Any other thoughts people have? Yeah, that's the obvious one is to protect and support. The less obvious one is you need the blood cells. And this is part of the some borders between states are hard to find, some borders between systems are hard to find, because bones do their thing, right? They keep you from motion. But they're also making blood cells, which is a very much a circulatory system job, right? We're good with skeletal system? All right. system. This one actually is just kind of the obvious one. Actually, anyway, feel free to respond. What's it gonna do?
Movement.
Movement, right? Yeah. Also, it's gonna keep you warm, but basically it's gonna move. But keeping you, yeah, we'll get to that later. Your book gets excited about facial expression. Apparently, if you can see people's faces, you can get a lot of information about like how they're feeling. So, yeah. With that, while we're on this, I'm getting better at reading classes, right? The kind of like stares or like get on with it. If I don't read this class well this semester, please be like, we already know that, or hold on, start over, okay? Please, thanks. Okay. Oh, nervous system. This is my personal favorite, partially because I spent a large chunk of my life looking at it. Besides being the most important system of the body, what does the nervous system do?
Send and receive signals.
Yeah. Yep. And it's fast. It sends and receives signals. But it's fast. It makes your brain, right? But it's not just your brain, it's your brain, it's the nerves throughout everywhere. People who are in neuroscience, some of this is going to be a review. The endocrine system. This is legitimately the miscellaneous section of the body. They all do kind of similar things, but they're not really connected. Basically, there's a whole bunch of glands and organs throughout the body that count as the endocrine system. What do they do? Vaguely.
Secrete hormones.
That's legitimately what brought them into the category. You're in the category if you secrete a hormone, which is just saying basically a chemical messenger. So that's tons of things. We've got everything from reproductive behavior to digestive behavior to cellular signaling to growth. Anyway, all sorts of things. So the catch-all category. The nervous system is going to be doing signaling that's lightning fast. All right. The endocrine system is doing signaling that hangs around a little bit longer and is more wide-acting. Growth and development is going to be a huge part of this, or just like how your body's kind of keeping its thermostat set at a given time. All right, cardiovascular. What's this one doing for us? What is shoving around? Say what?
Blood.
Blood, right? Shoving around blood. Sweet. This is good. It's shoving around blood. What's in blood that you want to shove around your body?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. You want oxygen? It's also going to be carrying stuff like glucose. So it's going to be carrying oxygen. It's going to be helping you get carbon dioxide back to your lungs to get it out. The heart's going to be pumping blood. There is a common misconception. It's a really common misconception. I'm not sure why. Besides, blood needs oxygen, the heart pumps blood. There's a really, really common misconception that the heart oxygenates blood. It doesn't. What oxygenates blood?
Lungs.
Lungs, yeah. The cardiovascular system is moving this around. The respiratory system is where you get the oxygen in and the carbon dioxide out. And I just told you something, sorry. You know this stuff. The respiratory system's the exchange of gas, right? But they're super interconnected. Are you people sick of hearing about COVID? Probably. Are you okay to indulge me for a second while I kind of nerd out about, okay, it's a respiratory disease, but when you look at the pathophysiology, it looks really, really vascular. So it looks like it's weird. It's not playing by the normal respiratory rules. It's doing weird stuff with the blood. It looks like, right, just in the preliminary autopsy. But because the cardiovascular system and the respiratory system are so tied together, yeah, messing up blood messes up the respiratory system. Which is why you might have heard some of those reports about different blood types. Have you seen this? Different blood types behave differently getting the coronavirus. Yeah, anyways, it's interesting. Whew. I don't know if this is healthy or not, but I have been like reading the pathophysiology reports coming out a little bit. And like, they all kind of start with the, okay, this is just a guess, and then they kind of go, anyways. I'm not sure if this is making me feel calmer or less calm. I think probably less calm actually, but whatever. Okay, digestive system. What's the function of this one?
Break down food to supply the nutrients to your body.
Yeah, like I want stuff out. And this one's very, very important. They're all important, sorry. Should be like, well, this one's, they're all important. Yeah, okay. Perfect, you kind of just nailed it. Come on. Urinary system.
Filters like your plasma and gets rid of the waste.
Yep. You try and get waste out. It also is going to play a role in like blood pressure a little bit. Mostly you're getting rid of like, oh, okay, that was great to get in, but I don't want it to stay in. The lymphatic system is this one nobody talks about. And I looked. Oh, I should have put it on. There are like a whole bunch of cheerful children's posters of like the body systems, right? They've got like a disembodied skeleton, it's just a skeleton, and they've got like just the muscle people, right? Have you seen this? And then there's like just the circulatory system. Have you seen this poster in like your 5th grade classroom? Okay, great. They leave this one out. Always, and it's cool. The lymphatic system, for some reason, doesn't make it on posters, but so blood goes around, it comes back. Well, a lot of fluid leaves blood, leaves into the tissues, like a lot. If you've ever if you've ever seen your hands swell, you realize there's fluid there that wasn't there to begin with, right? So fluid gets into the spaces between your tissues and into the cells themselves. And you need to get it back somehow. It doesn't fall back into the blood vessels, it falls back into the lymphatic system,